Let me ask you something. Have you ever wondered why some people remain calm, collected, and unshaken even when their entire world is falling apart, while others break down and lose themselves over the tiniest inconvenience? Why is it that some individuals keep showing up every single day, pushing through the pain, enduring setbacks, and rising after every failure, while others quit the moment life gets uncomfortable? It's not some mystical force, and it's definitely not talent or luck. It's something deeper, something built, something earned. It's mental strength. And while most people go through their entire lives without ever developing it, you're not most people. Because today I'm going to show you how to forge a mind so resilient, so focused, and so powerful, it shakes people to their core, not with noise or arrogance, but with unstoppable presence. This isn't some sugar-coated feel-good speech designed to hype you up for 5 minutes before you crash back in your old habits. No, this is real. This is the raw truth. And this is your training. And it starts right now. Lesson 1. The mental shift that changes everything. The first thing you need to understand, and it's not easy to hear, is that life is not supposed to be easy. And just because you're struggling doesn't mean you're broken. It simply means you're human. Everyone stumbles, everyone gets knocked down, but the ones who are mentally strong, they don't just survive the fall, they rise with more clarity, more grit, and more hunger than before. Your mind, just like your body, is a muscle, and it only grows when it's pushed, when it's challenged, when it's placed under stress, and still chooses to press forward. If you constantly take the path of least resistance, if you always run toward comfort, then your mind stays soft. And the moment life gets real, the moment the storm comes, you collapse under the weight of pressure you never trained for. But here's the mental shift, the one that changes everything. Every obstacle is not a punishment, but preparation. Every failure is not the end, but a lesson. And every challenge is simply another rep in the gym of your mind. You stop asking, why is this happening to me? And you start declaring, bring it on, because you finally understand that pressure doesn't break you. It builds you. Lesson 2, daily habits that build a tougher mind. Mental strength isn't built in dramatic moments or grand gestures. It's forged slowly, consistently, in the quiet, repetitive, and often boring daily rituals that most people ignore. So if you want a mind that can withstand anything, you need habits that train it. And these 4 are the foundation. Cold showers, not because you enjoy them, but precisely because you don't. It's not about the cold water. It's about saying yes to discomfort before your day even begins, about teaching your brain to stop resisting difficulty and start embracing it on purpose. Move your body, not for appearance, not for vanity, but because a body in motion creates a mind in motion, and even 20 minutes a day can sharpen your focus, elevate your energy, and remind you that physical movement is the fastest way to shift your state. Stillness, because your mind is constantly racing, and in a world that rewards noise, learning to sit in silence, even for 5 or 10 minutes, rewires your brain to find peace in chaos and strength in calm. Do something hard on purpose, not when it's convenient, not when you're in the mood, but every single day, whether it's getting out of bed without snoozing, saying the thing you've been avoiding, or pushing 1 extra set in the gym. The goal is simple. If you make a habit of choosing hard things, then the hard things life throws at you won't shake you. Lesson 3. Eliminate the habits that weaken your mind. Building mental toughness isn't just about adding good habits. It's also about cutting out the poison, the daily behaviors that drain your strength without you even realizing it. The first is complaining, because every second you spend talking about how bad things are is a second you could have spent making them better. And mentally strong people don't waste energy on what they can't change. They take action or they move on. The second is chasing comfort, because comfort is a liar. It tells you everything is fine when you're actually stuck, and the more you cling to what's easy, the more you miss the growth that only lives in what's hard. The third is making excuses, the stories we tell ourselves to feel safe, the justifications that let us off the hook. And while they might protect your ego for a moment, they rob you of power in the long run, because mentally strong people don't play the blame game. They take ownership, even of their mistakes, because ownership gives you control, and control gives you freedom. Lesson 4. Real strength isn't comfortable. If you want proof that comfort doesn't create greatness, just look at Arnold Schwarzenegger. Not the movie star, not the icon, but the 15-year-old kid in Austria with no money, no English, and no fancy gym, just a burning dream and a willingness to suffer for it. At 21, he left behind everything familiar, moved to a country he didn't understand, and trained like no one else. Not because he had some secret advantage, but because he understood that greatness isn't handed out. It's earned through discipline when nobody's watching. He didn't rely on motivation. He relied on work ethic, on consistency, on showing up even when it was hard, even when it hurt, even when no one believed. And that's why he became a 7-time Mr. Olympia, a Hollywood star, and a governor. Not because he was the most talented, but because he was the most relentless. So if he could do that, starting with nothing but a vision and insane discipline, then what's stopping you from taking your first step right now? Lesson 5. Control your emotions before they control you. Emotions aren't the enemy, but letting them run the show is. When stress hits, when the pressure builds, and when your emotions rise like a wave threatening to crash, the difference between someone who breaks and someone who bends is what they do in that moment. Mentally strong people don't react out of impulse. They respond with intention. And that all begins with one powerful habit: pause. When you feel triggered, when the anger, fear, or overwhelm kicks in, stop, take a breath, count to 3, and give yourself space, because in that tiny moment of stillness, you take back control. You can't stop emotions from showing up, but you can absolutely decide how you ride them. And that ability alone separates those who survive from those who thrive. Lesson 6. Redefine failure before it defines you. Failure isn't the end of the road. It's the path itself. Yes, it stings. Yes, it messes with your confidence. Yes, it feels like a brick wall, but what it really is feedback. Every time you fall short, you're gaining something: wisdom, strength, clarity, and an edge that only experience can give you. Look at anyone who has built something great. They've failed more times than most people have even tried. The only real failure is quitting, because as long as you get back up, as long as you stay in the fight, you're not losing, you're learning. So when you fall, and you will, don't waste time beating yourself up. Step back, assess, adjust, and move forward again. Because the road to success isn't paved with perfection. It's paved with failure, layered with lessons, and walked by those who refuse to stop. Lesson 7. Discipline over motivation. Here's a truth most people don't want to hear. Motivation is a fragile fuel. It burns hot, but it burns out fast. There will be days when you feel tired, uninspired, and completely unmotivated. And if you only show up on the days you feel good, you'll never build anything that lasts. Discipline is what shows up when motivation runs out. Discipline is getting up early, even when every part of you wants to stay in bed. Discipline is doing the work, hitting the gym, keeping the promise, even when no one is watching and nothing feels exciting. It's not flashy, it's not fun, and it's definitely not always rewarding in the moment. But every time you choose discipline over comfort, you cast a vote for the future you're building, and you start trusting yourself at a deeper level. And that trust, that's where real confidence is born. Final words. Your future is built by the choices you make today. You don't have to be a superhero. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have it all figured out. But you do need to begin. Begin showing up. Begin choosing discomfort. Begin becoming the version of yourself that, deep down, you already know you're capable of being. So the question is simple, and it's yours to answer. Will you keep hiding behind excuses and comfort? Or will you rise, do the hard things, and build the unbreakable mind that changes everything? The choice is yours, but your future is waiting on your decision. And if this message stirred something inside you, if you felt it, then share it with someone who needs it. And if you're ready to keep going, subscribe. Because this journey, this transformation, is just getting started. Stay strong. Keep pushing. I'll see you in the next one.